Welcome to the show, Matt. It
Thanks for
has
having
been
me.
a minute, bro. I haven't really seen you since well, December 12th on our way home from Philadelphia.
Yep.
Um, I guess we can say where we met. Um,
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Matt and I met when, as many of you know, I overdosed back in December. Ended up in the psych ward in Philadelphia. Walked in and I met this tall, lanky motherfucker, and who was in there for alcohol. Right, you were in there for alcohol at the time,
Yeah. Yeah.
and we were like the only two people in there for drugs or alcohol.
Yes. Yeah.
Um,
And semi-normal too.
and yeah, and which is crazier because we were all the way down in Philadelphia and we just missed each other in the same hospital, living minutes from each other at the time in East Bumblefuck, Pennsylvania.
Yep.
Like nowhere near Philly, 2.5 hours from Philly.
It was a horrible trip there.
Yeah, we both took like I left on you left on a Friday and I left on a Sunday. Is that what it
Ye-
was?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
Something like
something like that.
because you got or no, you even said you saw me in the hospital on that Thursday when I was on a bed in the hallway, right?
Yes. Yeah, going through because they had me off to the side in the hallway in the bed. Somebody sitting with me.
Yeah, and I had a guardian too. We both had
Yeah.
guardians, except for I had. That's right. I had to wait the 3 days because I had to get the Xanax out of my system before they sent me down to the same psych ward you happen to be at. And then we both lobbied for each other to get sent home on the same day.
Yep. In the
We
same
could,
van.
yeah, the same van, and we ended up splitting cigarettes on the way back, which was good because they wouldn't let us smoke on the way down there. The fucking constant. Oh no, you had the cool guy, right? You had a
He stopped 5 minutes away from the facility and let me smoke a cigarette.
yeah. No, my guy was a dickhead.
And make a text on my phone.
Yeah, no, my guy, he shut my phone, put it in my backpack, wouldn't let me touch that shit. I couldn't even talk to my wife until I got settled into I got there on a Sunday right as the Eagles game was kicking off.
That was the
And,
worst.
and, it was, I had been to rehab before, but was that your first time in a psych ward too?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to go back.
No, I don't want to go back either. How I got there was other ways they handled that situation than going to a psych ward.
Yeah. I hear that.
There
Rehab,
was
you could
other
at least
ways.
smoke cigarettes. You and I were like patch brothers, chewing
Yeah,
up gum the entire time. Like,
at the same damn time,
get
I
us the
was
fuck out of
living
here.
on gum and patches.
Yeah, get us the fuck out of here. Like we both have been through rehab before, but never through a psych ward. And like they say in literature, jails, institutions, and death. But that
Yep.
was definitely an institution. That's for damn sure. Because that place was, oh my god. I talk about this girl all the time. We don't have to say any names, but remember when we were sitting in group
I already know
and
where you're going. The
people
door.
were so the one night we were in there and people were trying to legit get out. They were like banging on the
Mhm.
doors, yelling and screaming, to try and get the hell out of there. But there's this one girl who had been there for over 30 days and she did not want to leave.
No.
And when you don't want to leave a psych ward, you just, it's simple, you just act crazier. So they're
Yep.
like, well, we need to keep you longer. Tell what happened. What were we doing? And go ahead, you tell it. You're the
We,
guest.
I don't remember oh, we were doing stretches.
Yeah.
We were doing stretches, and she wanted to stay longer, and we were stretching, and you could hear the commotion outside and see her going crazy. And I
She was not
remember
a tiny gal. She was not a tiny gal. We can say that.
no, yeah, she had a little build to her, a little
Like
bulky.
a linebacker.
Yeah. And all I see is I look out the window and she goes bolt running towards the door. Now these are two big wooden doors, like institutional sized doors.
Yeah.
And she tries to bust through them, but she just bounced off it and fell, and fell to the ground. And it's mean, but you can't help but laugh.
Even the person who was running our group laughed. Like, so like even like the room we were in for this group, if you've ever been to a cycle before, there's a lot of windows and all
Yeah.
it's So we're in this room for group, and it's just all window, and like and so we see her just barreling down the hallway, and like she was getting a full head of steam like a fucking
Yeah.
train, and,
Yep.
and she just
Smack.
bounced. Oh
they just
man!
they just stopped and looked at her for a second and picked her up.
And I think they still released her, right? They
They
still were like,
did. They did still release her, and she had another incident. Didn't she make it through
yeah,
the other door?
yeah. She was like flipping out on people and shit. Like,
Yeah.
she was,
Every other day she had an incident, and they
and
still released her into the public. Before I left, I said, "Listen, don't let me watch the news
yeah,
and see you doing some crazy stuff, all right?
yeah.
Think, use your head."
That was that, and she was only what, like 20, 21 years old.
Yeah,
Like
she was young.
she was young, man. Because we're the same. How old are you? You're 36,
Yeah,
37?
36.
37.
I'll be
Okay.
37.
Yeah, and I'm 39. That's right. We're around the same age. And
I
yeah, so
spent my birthday in there.
is that what it was? Your birthday was in there?
Yeah, I went in on December 5th. My birthday's the 7th.
Oh shit, okay. And I got there on like the 8th or the 9th, and we both
Mm-hmm.
got out there on the 12th, that Wednesday.
Yep.
And because my wife's, or no, it was the 11th, because my wife's birthday is that Thursday, the 12th, the next day. Because I got home the day before my wife's birthday. And yeah, that was, but yeah, she was only like 20, 21 years old. And I remember you and I were like, okay, let's get us the fuck out of here, because obviously we're in here for a different reason.
Yes. Yeah.
Like,
I
I think
was a nervous wreck. You're the reason you kept me calm because I wanted to be up at the window the whole time. Like, what's going on? Why haven't I signed my paperwork yet? And you're like, calm down, man. Calm down. And they got to me.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and you had because you and I kept in touch after that. What's your sober date now? What is your sober date, Matt?
Well, from alcohol, it's December 5th.
Okay.
I haven't drank since then. Um can I say
Yeah,
the
any
drugs?
drug you want. Yep, say it out loud.
From meth and heroin and Suboxone, it's April 15th.
Okay. Because you and I talked right before then, right? We were texting.
Mhm.
You were telling me like, listen, man, like this is what happened.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well, so
from the alcohol I haven't. When I got out from there, I didn't go. I still haven't drank alcohol, but I did fall into some other things for a little bit.
okay. Well, let's actually backtrack because like you have a lot to cover. I mean, you're 36 and you got 6 kids.
Yes.
You lived quite a life so far. And good. Where'd you grow
Yeah.
up?
Berwick, Pennsylvania.
Okay. So which is like right by where, I live now. And
Yeah.
now you're down more like by the Maryland border, right?
Yeah, more towards Harrisburg.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what,
York.
yeah. Yep. Because I used to live in Hershey. I lived in Lancaster County and Manheim for a minute. So, but you went down there to get sober?
In 2013, I had went to jail for operation of a methamphetamine laboratory. Um, and I did some time in jail, and I was all out of options. I had no family because I ruined everything with them. I had no friends. I had no home plan. The only place that would accept me is a recovery house in York, Pennsylvania. It's a 12-step program,
Okay.
and I came out here and I fell in love with the recovery program, and I fell in love with people, and I rebuilt my life, and I did good for many years.
Now, you
Um,
have brothers or sisters? I think you got one sister, right?
no, I have two sisters and
Okay.
two brothers.
Oh, okay. So you're one of where do you fall on that 5?
I am the third born.
You're smack dab in the middle.
Yep.
Middle child. Now growing up, did you grow up with middle child syndrome?
What's that?
Did you grow up with like middle child syndrome?
I don't. I maybe. Yeah, I think so. I felt like I was kind of like the black sheep. I was different from everybody was doing good things and like doing good in school, and everybody was succeeding in what they were supposed to be doing, and I was not. Uh, me and school just didn't get along, so I just didn't go. Dropped down to ninth grade.
Okay.
Um, and hung out with my friends more than I did my family, and started getting in trouble at a young age.
Now, were you getting in trouble before you started like drinking and using, or were you
Yeah.
did yeah?
Yeah.
Like what kind of
Yeah.
trouble?
Well, when I was younger, lying, a lot of lying when I in my elementary school years.
Hmm.
Um, lying, a lot of mischief at my house. I caught my kitchen on fire. I my dumbass caught napkins on fire, and I thought it'd be a good idea to throw it in the garbage. True story. Um, that kind of trouble.
I hear
Biting.
I hear lying all the time is like a precursor to almost addiction. I'm sure you've heard it because we both have done 12 steps.
Yes.
But I hear that in the rooms all the time that like lying was a big thing for them as a kid before anybody discovers drugs or alcohol is they
Yep.
find out that they have a hard time keeping like balance with the truth.
Yeah, and and that was my story. I would lie about anything when I was younger. But thankfully I grew out of that.
Yeah. Now, what did you discover first, drugs or alcohol?
Alcohol.
How old?
I was 13.
Okay.
I still remember it very clearly. Me and my friend, he lived up the block. He was my childhood friend. His mom, cool as hell. In fact, I still talk to her. She bought us Colt 45, a case of them. The funny story behind that is my buddy drank one or two. He didn't like it. I blacked out. I was throwing up. I was a whole mess.
You
Um,
loved it though from the start.
Loved it. Loved it. That's what I wanted.
Yep.
Um, Now the thing is though, I grew up in 12-step programming. My father was also one of us.
Hmm.
And so there was no drinking at my house. There was never any alcohol at my house because my dad was a vivid member. Um, so I kind of had to sneak the alcohol. And if he found out, that was bad. So when I was really younger, the first thing I did was alcohol, but then I started smoking pot. And pot was my thing for years. My mother used to tell me, Matthew, you have an 85% chance to become an alcoholic. If you're gonna do anything, smoke weed. Don't drink. So that's what I did for a while.
Hmm.
But eventually the alcoholism did catch up with me.
Yeah, it usually does. I mean,
Yes.
I
Yes.
started at 11, and I started drinking at 11, started daily drinking at 12, and I started smoking weed and cigarettes in 13. And
Yep.
that's when I started gambling too, was 13, which I'm also in 12 steps for gambling as well. And I do Gamblers Anonymous on the weekends. I don't mind breaking that tradition because it's not as important to me as the other ones. But I do Gamblers Anonymous on the weekends, just because I found myself just, even I think when we met, I was like
You were.
four. Yeah.
Yeah, you said I am. Would you? I wanted to put a bet on the spread, and you said I'm like 4 weeks spread clean.
4 months. I was
4 months,
4 months.
yeah, 4 months spread clean.
Yep. Yeah, that was my first time watching sports since I had quit gambling. Was in the psych ward. Because you know how like in 12 steps they say don't get into a relationship for the first year of your
Yep.
recovery. And when I got into recovery for gambling, I was like, well, I'm already in a relationship. I'm married, so that's out the window. I was like, so instead, I'll kill my relationship with sports for a year. And I won't, because like I'm a habitual sports bettor and I'm a habitual sports watcher. My betting progressed over the years, because our addiction's progression. And it started with like just football on the weekends,
Yep.
some Saturday college, some Sunday NFL. I wouldn't really fuck around too much on like Thursdays or Mondays because that's just one game, and I like doing big parlays. I like with the D. And then football ended, and the problem was I still had that itch.
Yep.
And then a month later, baseball started. And the difference is baseball is on all day for 7 days a week. So I found myself betting all day long, 7 days a week, instead of just all day long for 1 day a week on Sundays. So it got out of hand real fast. And so I didn't watch baseball July 12th on, all rest of July, all August, all September, even the playoffs in October. I said I would watch it if the Phillies, my team, made a World Series, and they didn't. They got close, but they didn't. And my rule was if my team makes it to a championship in my first year, then I'll watch it. Then I'll watch the sports. And big Eagles fan. So, I get in this psych ward, and there's nothing on TV but football. So I'm like, well, I guess I'm watching football, but I can't place a bet. I don't got a phone. So I watched football on that Sunday, which was cool. But I got home and I didn't watch any more football like I promised I wouldn't. And then Eagles made the Super Bowl. So I broke my rule and they fucking tore it up. And then I didn't watch any hockey or basketball or baseball. I'm a big Flyers fan, but I'm also an Oilers fan for hockey. So I watched the Stanley Cup, which was nice, watching the Oilers play the Stanley Cup. They lost, but it was a nice run. And now now that's been over a year, I watch sports here and there, but it's nowhere near, out of hand as what it was before. I got back into my hobbies and shit, but I stuck true to that, and, it worked out for me. So yeah, I started everything at a young age. When did your pot smoking, graduate into did it graduate into drinking it harder again, or did it graduate into more different drugs?
It graduated into more different drugs. Psychedelics. It started off with like shrooms, acid.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had my first kid, right? At this time, I'm 17 years old, and I had my first kid. I was 18 when she was born, and about a year went by, and I stayed away from everything. Me and her mother went on the rocks. We fell apart, so I fell apart. That was my excuse to go back and call some old friends, and that's when I was introduced to methamphetamines.
Okay.
Friends of mine told me that they talked me into making it because I had a place and I had resources to make it. So we made it, and he asked me if I felt better, and I said, no, now I'm stressed. Now I'm scared. And he said, this is how you feel better. And I said, okay. So I went to pull out a dollar bill, and I went to snort a line, and he stopped me. And he said, what are you doing? I said, I'm going to snort this line. He said, oh, no. There's only one way to do this drug, my man. And he pulls out a needle. Friend, right?
Yeah.
And I said, dude, I don't know what I'm doing with that. I've never done that before. He said, all you got to do is grab your arm and clench your hands back and forth, and I'll do the rest. And he hit me for the first time. And I said, Coke's for pussies. And that started years and years of jail and trouble. And I'm not, mind you, I'm only fucking 19 years old at this time. You know what I mean? 19, 20 years old. And that started.
You shoot anywhere, right? You don't got to hit a vein with meth, do you?
Hell yeah, you do.
You do? Okay, I've never done meth, so.
Yeah. If not, you get abscess. They say it'll seep into your bloodstream eventually. I don't remember that ever happening. I remember just getting big ass abscess, and it hurts really bad when you miss. So
wait,
yeah,
like skinny and like tall and skinny.
Always.
So
I actually
had like crazy veins then, haven't you?
Always. Have never been a problem for me. Yeah, veins have always been there. I'm working on my weight gain right now, and I'm proud to say I'm almost to the most I've weighed in years.
Nice.
I'm going for 200 pounds, and I'm at 186 right now, and that is such a huge. I've always had problems with gaining weight. I haven't been able to do it, and I'm really self conscious about my weight. And listen, you think I'm skinny now? When I do drugs, it's even worse. I
Yeah.
look like a skeleton. You know what I mean? I just look sickly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm healthy right now.
Yep. That's what happens when you put that shit down, man.
Yeah,
So you start shooting up at like 19, 20, and then you're hooked immediately, right?
immediately. Immediately. Nothing else mattered. I didn't see my kids for years. My family hated me. My mom and dad tried to be there for me, but if they would let me stay at their house, I'd rob them. Um, if they had things that were nailed down, I was getting a hammer and then unnailing it just so I could steal it. I couldn't be trusted by anybody or anything. So my family cut me off. My mom and dad did the hardest thing they ever did and said, "We gotta let you go. We can't help you anymore." Let me rephrase that. My mom did that. My dad was supposed to, but he went behind my mom's back and he still helped me. My dad always had my back, even when I was fucking up. My dad was there for me because he's one of us. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? My
Just
mom
gonna
is
say,
not. My mom is not. She's not. My father used to tell me, Matthew, you and I, we're fucking different. Our heads are fucked up. We think differently than other people. We need fucking help. Your mother, she doesn't understand that, but I do. So my
your
dad
parents
would
still
help,
together?
huh?
Your parents together?
They were. My dad died about 8 years ago from cancer.
Okay. I'm sorry.
27 years of continuous sobriety.
That's awesome.
Yeah, when he died. Cancer killed him, not
Not the
drugs or
disease.
alcohol. Yeah,
Yeah.
not the
Okay.
disease. That was awesome.
Yeah.
So my dad would every prison I've been to, except for one, and I was in Florida. My dad's been to every jail. He was always there for me. But anyway, my parents, my brother didn't speak to me for 6 years because of the way I treated my parents.
Yeah.
Um, my all my other siblings are very successful and they have careers. My brother, I really can't go into detail what he does because it's kind of like government related.
Mhm.
Um, but let's just say he's the complete opposite of us.
Yeah.
Um, and I might have told you when we were in the place together, but um, my whole family just shunned me, man. So I was on the street. I slept at the park in Berwick for months, man. Just getting with people when I could and doing what I did to get a fix and robbing people. I had a long stretch of just going out robbing people. I even got a nickname over it.
What was it?
Stick 'em, wick 'em.
Hmm.
Oh,
No, it's all right. It's all right.
all right.
Sticking Wickham.
Yeah, stick 'em, wick 'em.
Were you getting
Because
arrested for it?
no, because that was the beauty part of it. What were they gonna do? I was stealing drugs.
Oh, you weren't okay.
Yeah, I was robbing them of drugs. What were they gonna do? Call the cops and say this guy took my meth?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This guy still. I was supposed to buy weed off him, and he stiffed me. You know what I mean? They couldn't
Mhm.
call the cops, so I've never been arrested for that.
Damn. Okay. I wasn't sure if you were like robbing 7-Eleven or some shit, like
Nope, nope, nope. People.
just people.
Yeah,
Just
just
people.
yep. I
So
did that
these
for a
were
long
like
time.
dealers then. Or were
What's
they
that?
were they dealers or were they middlemen?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah, I would steal and rob from whoever I was dealing with. If it was a drug dealer, if it was a middleman, I'd go right to the source. I didn't care. And I'd fight over it too. I've gotten into a lot of fights over it. I got my ass beat a lot, but I cut the drugs.
When's your first time you went to jail?
2 weeks after I turned 18 years old. It was in December. Um, it was so I went to the local high school to pick up my first kid's mom. And they didn't want me at the school, so they arrested me on trespassing, right? But what they wanted me for was burglary. They held me on $15,000 bail, straight bail for my first offense, trespassing. because they wanted me to roll over on this burglary charge, which I never did. And they held me in there until they could come up with the evidence to charge me in a burglary case. So I went to jail at 18 for trespassing, and then December 12th, they charged me with burglary one.
What you got out of?
No, no, I took the blame and did, I got a six to 23 months for that.
You did 6 months or 23?
I did 8 months on a 6 months minimum, and then the rest on probation.
Okay. But probation didn't stop you from getting high.
No,
I mean, because it's a burglary charge. So if you're on probation for burglary, they're not drug testing you, right? Or where are they drug
no,
testing?
no,
So.
I was not being drug tested.
Because it's not
And
a drug
mind
related
you,
offense.
yeah, yeah, it wasn't drug related offense. They didn't know about the drugs, and yeah,
Because that's what happened. Because when I was put on probation before, back in like I don't know, 2013, it was for theft of property. I was high on Xanax and I stole like $5 grand worth of jewelry, and pawned it. Like, I was so high, I pawned it at the closest pawn shop like an asshole.
okay.
And
What
so
we do?
right away they went to the closest pawn shop, pulled my ID, and caught me. But what sucked was I lived 45 minutes away. So when I got arrested, they had to handcuff me and put me in the back of the car and drive me 45 minutes handcuffed in the back of the cop car to the police station to process me. But I got probation, and I wasn't drug tested at all that entire time on probation because it wasn't a drug related offense. And I was supposed to be on probation for a year, but it was my first offense, and I paid off the fine, the restitution pretty quickly, and I did my community service pretty quickly. So after like 4 months, they were like, we're not going to keep you on the books because we're not drug testing you anyway. So we're going to take you off probation and just squash it. So I was able to just go back to fucking around again after that.
Immediately.
Yeah. And at the time, I had a shady doctor, and I was getting scripts for 30s and scripts for Xanax. So even if they would have, I quit smoking weed for 4 months, but even if they would have drug tested me, if I would have popped for perks or popped for Xanax, I'd have been like, well, here's my script.
And you would have been clean.
And I would have been clean. So, and my community service was bullshit. I got 100 hours. And at first I was doing like trash pickup, and that was like in town community service that I could do. But like if I did 3 hours, I got marked for 3 hours. I found a VFW locally that would let me come in on Saturday from like 8 to 10 a.m. and clean up, and Sunday from like 8 to 10, and he'd mark me for 8 hours every single time.
Oh, that's sweet.
Even though I'd only be there for like an hour or two on the weekend each day. So I was done community service pretty quick. So you got out at your first time and went back to fucking around again. How long before you got picked up again?
Not long. There was a good couple year stretch there where I was fucking up, and I'd get arrested, I'd get out, and listen, I've been to that jail, gotten out, and went back 2 days later. I have been in that county jail more times than I can count.
The one in Bloom?
The one in Bloom, yeah. Berwick's too smart to have a jail. Columbia County.
Yeah.
I'd get out, go back and fuck up, miss the court date. They take me back, and that went on for a while. And it was cool because I was homeless and I was getting high in jail too. So, on the street or in jail, it really didn't matter. I was reckless. We would be riding around with drugs in the car, and if we had cops behind us, I would tell the people to give me the drugs. I'll get caught with it. I'll go to jail because I didn't care. You know what I mean? Jail didn't scare me. I had nothing to lose. You know what I mean? I had no family. My kids, I wasn't talking to my kids. Everybody hated me. I was a worthless piece of shit. Fuck do I care going to jail for a couple weeks? You know what I mean? A month or two, especially in the wintertime and it's warm in there. You know, and you can still get high. Shit, who would want to leave?
Yeah, and for most of you that don't know, what the county jail he's talking about was right around the corner from where I used to live. I used to live in downtown Bloom, right on West Third, which is right around the corner from the county jail. And what's funny is you have the county jail on this corner, the police station on this corner, and the YMCA on, on this corner.
Yep. That's exactly how it is too.
Because that's on, I think it's like, what's it on, 6? I think 6 or 7.
What, the prison?
Yeah.
720 Iron Street.
Iron Street, yep. And Iron Street's right around the corner from where I lived, right off of Jefferson. So Jefferson and Iron Street right there, it's all right there. I used to drive by it all the time to go to the gas station to get cigarettes and energy drinks up at the corner, right off of Iron Street, right when it ends, that little like gas station right there when you hit East Street or whatever, West Street.
Oh no, Main Street. Main Street's right there. You talking about Unity?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. They recently redid the entire thing.
Oh really? I haven't been there in years.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And there's also the other one I used to go to was on Market. That's what it was, on Market.
Maybe it was more than I'm thinking of. The one right next to 11?
Yeah, the one that's right by the railroad tracks.
Yeah, it's got the AutoZone across the street.
Oh, okay. That one they recently redid. That one is that one they recently redid. Right off 11 right there. And then the other one on the other side of Iron Street.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about now.
The other side down by Market where it ends.
Yeah, closer to the college.
Closer to downtown, closer to the fountain.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
There's another Unity, and that's the one I used to go to all the time because I live 2 blocks off of Market Street. So I would pop around and go down Market and grab my smokes. And like I would walk in and the dude would put my cigarettes right on the counter. Like he knew exactly, you know what I mean? Like I'd walk in, grab a Monster or 2. I'd grab the big boys, the twist off caps, Monsters.
Yeah, the BFCs.
Yeah, the big guys. Today I had to go to the 7-Elevens. They only had the small ones. But yeah, I used to get the big motherfuckers. And I'd walk up and he'd put 2 packs of smokes because he knew what I would want, you know, right on the counter for me. But now I haven't smoked a cigarette. Today's August 2nd in 7 months.
Good for you. I cannot say the same.
Yep. It's funny is I ended up, so we got out, you know, December 11th or whatever. And I smoked for a few more weeks. And I told my wife January 1st, you know, I'll stop for New Year's, which everybody says, you know, let's be real. Everybody quits a drug.
New Year's resolution.
Yep. Everyone quits a drug or smoking on January 1st. And I woke up that day with like 6 in my pack, maybe 5. And I smoked them. And, you know, it's no secret. We live in the middle of fucking nowhere in Pennsylvania. Freezing fucking cold. I'm outside just shivering, just like, you know, shaking.
That's how we were when we got out.
Yeah, and it was
so happy.
Yeah, when we smoked outside your mom's house, you know, the driver that we had to smoke with outside your mom's before he took me home, and remember it was raining. And but I was just outside shivering. I'm like, all right, this is for my last one. And you know, I put that shit out and I went inside and was like, all right, well, pack's done, you know, I'm done. And I haven't smoked since. You know, it's been that I used a patch, ironically, because we use patches in there.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that.
I used the patch for 10 days, no gum, just patches for 10 days. And I still have, I'm looking right at them in my office. I got bags of patches because they bring you down, you know, over time. So I'm looking at them right now, the bags of patches that I have. I used them for 10 days and I just said, fuck it. And I haven't used the patch since, or gum, you know, like I even have, this is a full pack of gum. right here, and I still haven't even touched it. Even for 6 months now, 7 months now.
No urges?
Yeah, I mean, I'm human.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? There's times where like work will stress me out. Where I'm so used to, because I work from home. So it used to be so easy just to pop outside and smoke a quick smoke, and then come back inside feeling better.
Yeah.
And I have severe insomnia, so like I have so much trouble sleeping at night. Where there's been urges to be like, man, a cigarette right now maybe will calm me down,
Put me to sleep.
put me to sleep. But they like anything else when it comes to drugs or alcohol or any kind of substance or thing or AD that you're addicted to, there you just gotta be patient.
Yeah. Fight through it.
That shit passes. If I learned anything in the programs and 12 steps is you need to be okay with being patient a lot.
And uncomfortable.
Yeah. Because life's not always gonna be perfect.
Nope.
Let's be real.
Life's gonna show up.
Yeah. And there's a lot of times where I just need to just like breathe through it and just be patient and just be okay with not being okay for a little bit.
Yep.
And yeah, it's been 7 months. Longest fucking time I ever went, because before this was 2 weeks. I lasted 2 weeks back in 2006. I was 7 years into smoking when I tried to quit in 2006. Because I started smoking in 1999 when I was 13. And so I tried quitting in 2006. It lasted 2 weeks cold turkey, and then I haven't stopped since. For nothing. Rehabs, everything, pack or two a day. I was smoking. Never less. I think the less amount I smoked was like maybe a half pack a day for like a couple months. But I was always smoking a pack or two a day.
I quit smoking for 3 years one time.
Did you really?
Yeah, then I got out of jail. And I immediately, I think I was out for 5 minutes. Turned to my dad and said, "Let me get one of them." And they were nasty, a Winston Light. Yeah. But then I went and got a pack of Newport.
Yeah. So you could do drugs in jail, but you weren't smoking cigarettes in jail.
Isn't that some stuff? Isn't that weird? Yeah, I don't want to smoke because I wanted to quit. And well, I don't know. In jail, you always, when you get out, you're gonna do better. You're not doing this. You're changing something. You know what I mean? Everybody has this jail talk, and very rarely does it happen. You know what I mean? That last stint I did though, I said I was done getting in trouble. I said I'm gonna be a father. I'm gonna make something of myself. Like I could fucking do this. I'm worth more than this. And I did that for and I'm still doing it. I've had slip ups and I've messed up. But I haven't been back to jail since that time in 2013. That was the last time I was in jail.
And you did 3 years.
Yeah, from 2010.
2010 and 2013. Was that in Pennsylvania or Florida?
That was in Pennsylvania. That's when I did it 3 years in Pennsylvania. I was in Florida for. I was only in Florida for what 6 months or so until they extradited me back to Pennsylvania. I went on the run, into Florida, and they brought me back.
Yeah, they'll do that.
Yeah, they'll do that. Yeah.
And that was for manufacturing meth at the time.
What, when I went to jail for 3 years?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was. I got 2 charges: operation of a meth lab and possession with the intent to manufacture.
Because you had paraphernalia, like.
I had a bottle.
What do you mean a bottle?
When you're manufacturing it, it's manufactured in a bottle. And when I was caught with the bottle.
Oh, okay. Okay, so
Yeah.
they hit you, and by then you were in and out all the time.
Yeah, I was career criminal at this time. At this time, I have 3 kids. My second son was born when I was in prison. So things were just bad. So when I got out of jail for doing those 3 years, I tried to straighten myself up. But I still had slip ups and off and on, for a little bit.
So you got 6 kids. How many women?
Four,
4.
four, yeah,
Impressive.
yeah, not really, but I take care. I take care of all my kids. I
Yeah, I
pay
remember you were
for
like in
all my
contact
kids.
with a lot
Yeah,
of them.
they
Cool.
are my world. My
Yeah,
children. In fact, I'm seeing my two youngest kids today. I'm taking them to a splash pad.
that's awesome.
Um, Me and their mother are going through some stuff right now. I kind of feel like this is deja vu actually from years and years ago with my first two kids. When me and their mother had a falling out. Me and my two newest kids' mother is currently having a falling out, but I'm handling it in a different way than I did back then. I have I'm more equipped and know what to do, and I know what would happen if I go back to that, and I don't want to. So I'm handling it in a much better way than I did, fucking 15 years ago.
Mm,
Um, but my children, everybody says in the rooms that you have to stay sober for yourself. You have to get sober for you and stay sober for you, and I agree to that to an extent. But I'll be honest, for me, a big part of that are my children. I live and breathe for my kids. Because I don't really give a shit if I die or if I'm alive. I really don't.
yeah.
It's my kids. I have a goal. I never graduated high school. I didn't do so great in school and stuff. I always tell my kids that I did bad for them. I showed them what it's like to go down the wrong road and to not be so successful in life. They're gonna show me what it's like to graduate high school, to go down the right road. College if they want to. I'm not so sold on college for people. I think you can do good without it. I think you can do good with it. So they want
Yeah.
to go to college, they can. But god damn it, they're gonna fucking graduate. Proud to say my two oldest kids are 16 and 15, and they have both surpassed my grades that I made in school. And I am so happy about that. My son, he's 15, so much fucking smarter than me. So much, dude. Kid blows me away. He gets straight A's. He's best of everything, dude. He likes sports. He likes school. He's book smart and he's into sports. He's a jock, but he'll do not jock stuff. And my goal is to see those fucking kids succeed. And I'm not gonna rest myself or put myself in a position where I can't do that because if I'm fucking up, my kids' moms. One thing I can say, my kids' moms aren't junkies. I've always picked kids' mothers who aren't one of us. They're not with it. My kids' moms will cut me off and stop me from seeing my kids immediately. So I'm blessed there. I will see them succeed. I will see them do good, and that's a big reason why I stay on the right path. Because if I don't, I'm afraid I'm not gonna be able to see my kids, and if I'm nothing without them.
Yeah. Yep. So what other ages ranges? 16 to what?
16 to 2.
16 to 2.
Yeah, yeah, about to be 3.
And you said 2 of them are down by where you are now.
Well, right now 3 of them are. My first 3. Oh, what, down where I'm at now?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 2 of them. My 2 youngest ones are down here where I'm at now. Yeah,
Oh, cool. Cool.
yeah,
And then you have 3 up by where I'm at.
yes. And then I have one in Florida.
One in Florida. You
Mm-hmm.
were only in Florida for a few months and you have a kid down there?
No, I
Okay.
met, I met, her mother. Her mother lived up here where I'm at now.
Okay.
And when she got pregnant, she wanted to move with her mother to spend her pregnancy with her mother, and that was in Florida. And I had my children here. So it was one of the hardest decisions I've ever had to make. Either way, I had to leave kids,
Yeah.
She wanted me to go with her, but what was I going to do with 3 kids that I had here?
Yeah.
And I was trying to get full custody of my middle child at the time. So I had to let her go. She went to Florida. I've been to Florida twice. Actually, in
Mm,
my young, yeah, when I was in Orlando when I was younger, on the run also. And then I went to Florida about 9 years ago, was it? I'm not sure. To Tallahassee, where my kid's mother, and I went with her. For a few months also when I came back. Um, but yeah, so and she stayed in Florida. Now I don't see her often, but I FaceTime her every day. We talk on a daily basis, and I pay support to her every week. She's just as important as all my other kids.
yeah. Yep, that's awesome. Yeah, I remember you talking to your kids all the time when
Yeah.
we were only there for a few days, but you've been making phone calls all over the place.
People were pissed.
Yeah,
People were mad that I was on the phone as much as I was, but I was talking to my kids.
yeah,
They, like I said a few minutes ago, they are my reason for living. My children, or I talk about them and I smile
yeah,
because I love all of them.
yeah. I remember your one son's a big Bills fan like you are, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought
yeah.
so.
My other son, the one I have full custody of, hates football. He's not a sports guy.
Yep, that's
He's
right.
a
I remember
video
that.
gamer. He's a video gamer, but
Yeah,
he's not a sports guy, and that's okay. You know what I mean? I'm just glad he likes something. He doesn't have to like
yep,
what I like. I want him to be his own person. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And that's cool.
And you were big into wrestling too, right?
Oh, still today's SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my plans for tonight.
Yeah. Okay. I remember. That's what I thought. I remember because you wanted to watch it the one night.
Yeah, yeah,
The wrestling. What else did
yeah.
we
I'm a
watch?
nerd, man.
We watched a lot of Catfish.
Catfish. Listen, I still watch that show today because of you.
Yeah. That's oh my god. We watched so much Catfish like in 2 days because like it had the marathons on
Yep.
MTV.
We
And
took over that TV.
yeah, yeah, we did. Yeah. Nobody else was in there. I just grabbed, like a home. I just grabbed the remote and I just,
Kick back.
yep. How else you gonna pass the time?
Yeah, yeah, man. Instead of doing, being crazy, you know.
I do not want to go back there again.
Oh man, I'm pretty sure I'm never gonna go back there. That was a crazy experience. I like to tell people, I've seen crazy, and I ain't it. I know I got some problems. I'm not perfect. My head goes. I'm a little loopy, but goddamn, I'm not that.
Yeah. Yep.
And God bless all of them.
I don't know, man. I'm good on that. Like, and I'm bipolar. You know what I mean? Like, I got some screws loose, but
Yeah.
I'd rather have to go to rehab again, even if I'm not on drugs. So
Oh
I'll
my
smoke
God.
cigarettes,
They,
but I
they,
would
they
look good.
definitely need to let you smoke.
Well, I think it's because of the lighter. I think it's because it's like a danger. You have fire and you can burn
Yeah,
people and shit. Have you been in rehabs
Uh,
or just jails?
one rehab.
One rehab.
Yeah, one rehab. Before I met you, I was in rehab for alcohol.
Good. Okay, so you did 3 years and you kind of stayed straight then.
Yeah, for the most part, I would dip and dab in weed here and there.
Mm.
Um, but nothing serious. And then right around the time my dad died, in 2016, 15 or 16, I had relapsed, for a short period of time. Um, Back on, actually it was meth and heroin. I had relapsed for a short period of time. Not a lot of people knew that though. I was getting high and lying to people about it for so long, dude. So I still get my dates mixed up. But I did right around the time my dad. I mean, that my dad was my best friend, and it's not an excuse. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
no,
can't
I
use that.
realized that my dad died too.
The only thing I knew that made me feel better was that. And my dad was
Yeah.
the only person. I have a hard time trusting people. And the only person I can honestly say I've ever trusted their word was my father. If the
Yep.
man said he was going to do something, there was no question. No, he will be there. Come hell or high water. Storm, hurricane, blizzard, he'd be there. And after my dad died, I relapsed for a little while. And I kind of kept it under wraps. I kept it together. You know what I mean? I wasn't at the extreme, but I hit my own bottom. Um, and then that is actually when I traveled to Tallahassee to see my kid's mom with my daughter in Florida, right? Um, they like drugs in Florida too, by the way. I
Yeah,
was
they do.
supposed to go and get cleaned up and stuff. Yeah, that didn't work out.
Yep.
I ended up coming back. People in the program bought me a bus ticket back here to York where I'm at now. Um, and that's when things started getting good. That's when, now this is 2020, all right? 2019. Well, I came back out here in 2018, all right? I came back out here in 2018 and I got a job where I stayed at for 6 years. And that's when things started doing good. I hit the program head first. I was all in it. I was 30 years old. I got my driver's license. Um, I started running a sober living house. I originally went back to the recovery house. I was there for 3 months, and I went to a sober living house. Ended up managing the sober living house. Um, and then of course I met another lady, which just happens to be my fourth kid's mom. Um, and this is 2020. I moved out of the sober house, and I still managed it even though I didn't live there for about a year. I gained full custody of my son. My At the time, he's 12 now. I gained full custody of him, and life was good. I was working my ass off. I was doing good. Life was all right. Um, and I guess it got too good because I thought that even though I had some years clean again, I could drink because alcohol was, I liked it. I drank a lot, but alcohol was never really my thing. You know what I mean? Not like meth and heroin was.
Yeah.
So I started drinking. I liked that too. Um, as you know from being in the program, it all progresses like you're gambling. You know what I mean? It all progresses. I started off just drinking on the weekends. That was it. The weekends progressed into, all right, I'll just drink 1 day a week, after work, 1 day a week. Um, then I was drinking every day.
Yep.
Then I was drinking. I did do good at not drinking before work. All right, I was good at that. But on the weekends, as soon as I woke up on Saturday, I was drinking.
Yeah.
Um, and that progressed so much where I would rather drink than pay rent, than take care of my responsibilities. Just neglected everything. Um, and I ended up losing my place, everything. And I go back to Berwick to get cleaned up. Um, Drugs and alcohol were still there. They still liked them.
Yep. Pretty sure they still
Um,
do.
they still do a lot.
I read the paper.
Yeah. Um, Things progressed and it got worse when I got there, and that's how I met you.
Yep. Yeah, because you had just gone on a bender, right?
Yes. Yes, I was drinking and meth. When I went back to Berwick, man, I don't know why, but Suboxone and meth were my thing. Um, and I do some dope too. Um, but I went on a bender. I was just out of control, and my sponsor was also my best friend. Known him for years. He's a guy who bought me the ticket back here, got me a job with him, and I kept that job forever. And this guy, I held a resentment against him for a long time until just recently, actually. Um, He told me to tell them I want to commit suicide to get separation from the alcohol.
That's right.
And
I remember that.
the drugs. And I was so fucking out of it, man. But yeah, sure, why not? There's so many other ways to handle that situation. So than to do what I did. Um, Looking back on it though, the motherfucker might have saved my life because I wasn't doing anything else. I wasn't trying to do anything else. I wasn't going anywhere. Um, I met you while I was in there. And mind you, I haven't picked up alcohol since I went to that facility.
Yeah, which is, I mean, coming up on 8 months in a
Yeah,
few days.
yeah, in a few
But I mean,
days.
this
Yeah,
by the time this comes out, it'll be September.
yeah,
9 months, hopefully, God willing.
yeah.
Um,
Got going.
but we're recording this on August 2nd, so in a few days it'll be officially 8 months for both of us because I haven't touched pills or drugs since December 5th, and that's when your sober date is, right, from
Yep.
drinking at least.
Yeah,
Yeah.
from drinking. Yep. Yeah. So, what happened after that is, I needed to get cleaned up again, and I had took myself off everything for about a week, and I couldn't find any work back home. I couldn't really get on the right path. So I got a hold of the guy who I like to say saved my life in the very, very beginning when I first got out of jail from doing that 3 years. And I came to York to that recovery house. I called him and I said, "Listen, man, I'm fucked up. I when I destroy my life, I only know of one way to start over again. It's the only way that's ever worked for me, and that's from starting from ground zero to get back to basics." So I called that man at the recovery house, and he allowed me to come back. Um, and I am now rebuilding my life, and I'm doing a great job. I'm doing great right now, man. I'm on fire. I'm back in the program. Only have a couple more weeks to finish the program, and I have to get my son back out here with me before he's visiting his grandmother for the summer. He's with his grandmother for the summer, and while I do this and get my act together. Um, so I had to get my son back out here. So I have a little bit of more time to get my own place and stuff like that, which I'm working on. I'm doing good at it.
Nice. And hopefully by the time this comes out, that'll be all said and done.
It could be.
Yeah, because like you're working on it right now. So just to catch up, now we get out mid-December. You weren't drinking.
No.
How long did you stay good before you fell off with like dope and meth again? Like what happened there?
Um,
Because we only briefly talked about it.
yeah,
You know,
I'm trying to remember, man. Boredom, I think. Depression.
okay.
Depression. I couldn't find work. There was nothing going on in my life.
Did you
I
start
was
selling it and then you started using? Is that what happened? You started selling it and then you started using it?
yes. Thank you for reminding me. I had no job and I needed money. So I started selling it, trying to get some money up, and broke Biggie's #1 rule: don't get high on your own supply.
Yep.
And there I go again. Because people like me, if you're anything like me, you can't. Once you flip that switch,
Yeah.
there's no unflipping it for a while. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's either jails, institutions, or deaths.
Yeah, that's why I won't, like you asked about smoking a cigarette earlier. That's why I won't do it. Because I know once I smoke one cigarette, I'm done. Like it's a wrap.
Yeah.
There is no smoking one cigarette, just like there is no having one drink. There is no taking one pill. Once I do something, it's done. It's as simple as that. So, my wife went away a few weeks ago my wife does recovery Dharma, which is like a Buddhist approach to recovery.
Yeah.
And there was a summit in Chicago for like 4 or 5 days back in mid-July, and my wife drove out to it, and it was my first time alone in like 6 years, since before we had met, when I had my own place. And I didn't have a car, to do anything because my wife had the car. But it's Sheets is right around the corner. You can have beer delivered. I'm in Bloom. You can get shit delivered from from the beer distributor or whatever, a beverage station, or Sheets will deliver that shit. Sheets would deliver cigarettes.
They sure do.
And I could have easily fell off with either one. I could have found drugs online, I'm sure, if I would have looked hard enough, but I didn't look at all because I knew, just because I was alone, maybe if I was bored, once I do one thing, it's done. It's, there is no getting a little high or getting a little drunk.
No, all in.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can't do it half-assed. Half measures. We can't do half measures.
That was nothing. I remember that.
Yep.
That's said in the first fellowship I did.
Yeah.
Which I believe you're in. Because I've done 2 different fellowships in my 7 years off and on recovery. And the first fellowship I did, which we don't have to name names, is the one you're doing. And anyone who's been through 12 steps knows where half measures of L is nothing comes from.
Yes. Anybody who's been where we've been knows what we're talking about.
Yep. So, there is no half doing anything. That's for damn sure.
No, man, I go balls to the wall.
So, okay. So now we're at to where we're at now. We won't say where, but you do 12 steps. Yes. Are you actively working on them? Do you have a sponsor and shit?
I do. I have the same sponsor that I had a resentment against. And I am actively working the steps. I am trying to sponsor other people. I'm all in again. I'm all about it. In fact, there's an AA there's a picnic today that I was thinking about taking my kids to, but I did tell them about the splash pad, so I'm a little conflicted on what we're gonna do. Because I have no problem taking my kids. I love showing them off, I've known these people for a while, so I'm there's other kids there.
Well, whether it's AA or NA, the picnics that you go to, because you're welcome to either one, no matter what.
Yeah.
Which one you're active in, they're going to accept you and not turn you away. You could be using, and they're not going to turn you away at a picnic. They just want you to show up and just learn.
Even meetings, you can show. In fact, I won't go into detail, but a man who is struggling showed up to a meeting yesterday, and he was intoxicated.
Yep.
Just last night. And he looked at me and he shook his head. He said he was sorry. And I said, all are welcome.
Yep.
There's only one
requirement for membership, the desire.
Yep. The desire. And as long as you sit down, man.
Yep.
Don't cause a scene. Don't act a fool. Sit down and try to pick something up.
Shit, man. Even people that act a fool. There was you reminded me. So, and I don't give a shit about breaking my own anonymity. I went to AA when I was in California, and this was 7 years ago. And I was like a few months sober at the time. And I used to go to in LA, there's 300 AA meetings a week in LA and LA County. And I used to go to, I'm not even exact. I was doing nothing but IOP at the time. I wasn't working. I was living in sober living, going to IOP. And I was going to 3-4 AA meetings a day, sometimes NA too. I was switching them up, every day was different, but I was primarily going to AA. And how you have curfew in a sober living.
Mm-hmm.
My sponsor's home group was an 11 p.m. meeting, and I got permission to break curfew every single day because I was like a model person in there. I wasn't getting in trouble. I was going to meetings, getting course slip signed and shit.
You were in trust.
Yeah. And so I would go to an AA meeting 7 days a week called Late Night. And it was in, it's still there, Marina Del Rey, LA. It's like West Side. It's like West LA, kind of near Santa Monica. I used to walk from Venice on a Saturday night, 8 o'clock meeting. I would walk from Venice about an hour and a half, about 7 miles, to this late night meeting. And I would just talk on the phone the whole time, just chain smoke cigarettes. I loved LA, beautiful weather. I was there during the summertime, and I lived on the west side of LA where it's right along the ocean. So it was beautiful weather. It was never really too hot. The parts that are LA are too hot are like the east side of LA or closer to like the deserts and shit like that in the valleys. That's when it gets really fucking hot. Anyway, so 11 p.m. meeting. The difference is LA is filled with sober livings and rehabs. And they take these people to meetings all the time, like 7 p.m. meetings. And I'm not sure what you call them. We call them the dope fiend limousine, shit like that. Druggy buggy. They pull up in the van, unload, and you go to a meeting. And that's the 7 p.m. meeting. But the 11 p.m. meeting, those are the people who want to be in the meeting.
Okay.
You're not in a rehab going to an 11 o'clock at night meeting.
Those are the people that want it.
Those are the people that want it, not need it.
Yes.
And usually they're young people because it's 11 p.m. My man Marshall, who passed away with 34 years. My man Marshall was in his 60s. He was there every night at 11 o'clock. And he used to sit right next to me, and this dude was amazing. He used to text me every Christmas and holiday, how you doing, blah, 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 and catch up until the day he died. Some friends of one of his sponsees. And, but yeah, so one night I'm sitting in there, 11 o'clock at night meeting. And in LA, it attract a lot of homeless people too because of the free refreshments. And this dude comes out of the bathroom, flying out of the bathroom. And there's a podium in the front of the room where you share from, where usually it was a speaker meeting. The speaker would do like a 40-minute talk, and then you share, or like 30 minutes, and then you share. And this dude sits right in front of the podium on the ground, crisscross applesauce, and raises his hand to share. He's like, I just smoked meth in the bathroom. Now I know how to stop.
I bet that got some heads to turn.
Oh my God. We all started dying. Like the entire room just like broke out laughter. Like, oh man. Like only a late night. And it was like, it wasn't a candlelight meeting. I don't know if you've ever been to a candlelight meeting before.
I've heard of them.
Yeah. I used to go to a couple of them on a Friday night. It was an NA meeting, and it was called 4D, as in the fourth dimension.
Yeah, we have one of those out here.
And so I used to go to that meeting, or maybe it was AA, but either way, it was into the 4D was the meeting, and it was by candlelight, and that was legit. Lights off in the room, and candles everywhere lit up, and it was cool as shit. It was in the Hood too, which the Hood is some of the best fucking meetings. I don't care what anybody says.
The last stop in Philadelphia, in Kensington, best meeting I've ever heard of, dude. And it's in the middle of,
You know why those kind of meetings are the best? Because if you can get clean or sober in the worst section of where the action is, anybody can get clean or sober anywhere.
Yeah. Listen, the recovery houses out here in York are right in the Hood for that exact reason. Because if you want it, you can get it. But if you want recovery, you can get that too.
Yep.
It'll make or break somebody.
Yeah, and that's what people say about how'd you get clean in LA? How'd you get sober in LA? I'm like, because the recovery is amazing out there.
Yeah.
Like, it's a party town. But that's the same reason my Gamblers Anonymous meeting is on Zoom. And I picked, you can pick meetings anywhere. And I picked 2 meetings, and they're based out of Las Vegas. And my theory was, if anybody can quit gambling, it's people in Las Vegas. So I get amazing recovery in those meetings. You know what I mean? Because these are people who lived in Vegas right by the casinos, and they quit gambling right there. So I've gotten amazing recovery from there. So yeah, I used to go to the Hood meetings, and they had amazing. And this one, that's what I say, by candlelight, that's what we call it. But really, it was a string of Christmas lights that would go around the room, and that would be the only lights on in the room, were these like the string lights that were like surrounding the room. But I used to go there at noon, and then I stopped because it was like too much meditation, and I wasn't good at meditating back then. I couldn't like handle it. My
Yeah.
brain wouldn't do it. So I started going to a meeting in Santa Monica every day at noon, 26 and Broadway, and it was right by IOP. So I would like Uber. You had to Uber everywhere in LA. I would Uber to 26 and Broad to go to a nooner, and then I'd walk about an hour and go to IOP, and do IOP every day. Because I walked all over the city. I lost like 70 pounds in living in LA because of just walking everywhere. Yep. And it's not even a walk-in city. I'm so used to like Philly and New York City that like you just walk wherever you need to go. You just fucking walk.
Yeah.
And beautiful weather, headphones in, smoke my smokes, and just
loving life.
Yeah, I loved it. I was in recovery, no job. And I was just like, it was my way to like reinvent myself. When I first was going to get clean, I said to my mom, like, I'm going to LA. She's like, why don't I go to Florida? Everybody goes to Florida. Like, I'm from Jersey. Everyone goes to Florida. I'm like, because I don't want to know anybody. I know everybody in Florida that got clean in Florida.
That's what I like about out here.
I was like, I want a fresh start where no one knows me, and I can like just like figure out who the fuck I am.
Yep. And be who you really are.
Yep. And it worked out for me. I mean, yeah, I've had some slip ups over the last 7 years, with alcohol for a little while and prescription medications, but I haven't bought opiates. I haven't bought coke. I haven't bought coke. I haven't bought drugs off the street since April 24th, 2018.
That's impressive.
Even weed, I was buying that at the dispensary.
Yep. Yeah.
Like I haven't bought weed off the street. I haven't smoked weed in 14 months as of yesterday. But I haven't bought any drugs off the streets in 7 years. And actually, I'm glad because I just read this morning the dispensary in my town in Buckhorn closed.
Did it?
Yeah.
I know the name of it. I was there.
Yeah, Air Wellness.
Yeah. I was gonna say area or some shit like that, but yeah. Did they? So there's no dispensary in Buckhorn.
Nature's Medicine. And then it turned into Air about 2 or 3 years ago. And then, they shut down like last week. They couldn't pay their fees or something like that. And I think the closest dispensary now to where is Selinsgrove or Hazleton. Depending on which direction you want to go in.
Yeah, and where you're living at. Yeah.
And that's even survived because Air didn't survive in Buckhorn, so I can't promise that Air survived Selinsgrove because that was a dispensary in Selinsgrove was Air. So I know that I read the one in Hazleton's still there.
Yeah,
maybe there's one in Shamokin I read, but still, that's not like around the corner when you live in Bloom.
Yeah, dude, nothing's around the corner when you live out there, dude. It's fucking everything's 2 hours away.
Yeah, and even Berwick, like you're the next town over, but it's still again not. And I live on I live on the edge of Bloom, right by Sheets.
Yeah,
I live on the edge of Bloom, and it's still a 9-minute ride into Berwick. And to get into like where you lived, it was still a 9-10 minute ride into like downtown because you live right by the theater and shit, and right by the. The last time I was really in Berwick was my son's 11th birthday. Actually, he turned 11 2 weeks after you got sober. Because if you got sober on the 15th of April, his birthday is the 29th. And his birthday party was at the Y in Berwick.
Okay. All right. I knew you were right.
Yeah. So that was the end of April. That was the first weekend of May, I think. That was probably the last time I was in Berwick, except for my best friend. She smokes a vape. And she's my wife's caregiver. And the only time I ever get close to smoking again is when I fuck with her because she hates when she loses her vape. So whenever she's here, I'll like take her vape and pretend I'm going to smoke it, even though I hated smoking vapes. Like I'm a cigarette smoker. I can't smoke vapes.
Yeah,
I've smoked a vape like 3 times. Like I've hit it like 3 times in my life, and I always end up dying coughing.
Yep, that's what I was going to say. Me too.
I rip it like a cigarette.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know how to smoke a vape. I rip that shit like a smoke, and I die. And so the only time I got close to ever smoking is when I take her vape and I pretend I'm going to smoke it. And it was like a Sunday night, and I was in a meeting, and her vape died at like 9 o'clock at night or 10 o'clock at night. And I was like, I will take you to Berwick. There's a vape shop open till 11. because she doesn't have a car. I was like, I'll come pick you up and I'll take you to fucking Berwick. So that was the last time I was in Berwick, was like at 11 o'clock at night to like, and it's so funny. We pull into the, it's on the edge of Berwick too. It's not even like downtown Berwick. And it's like a smoke shop. It's right by, I think it's like an old Bradley's or some kind of like, you know, shopping little mart right on 11. And we pull in and it's just like all signs for USA, like all USA signage, like proud to be American. And I'm pulling them. And I said to her, I was like, these guys are definitely Indian. Like, there's no way they're American. And we walk in and, how you doing? Like,
Yeah.
like,
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, I know it.
I may help you.
Yeah, right. He's like vacuuming and shit. I'm like, I know it. There's, you know, there's no American vape shops that have American signs all over.
No.
It's like liquor stores, you know, same with liquor stores. If you have all the signage saying that like proud to be American, you walk in, it's 100% Indian owned every single fucking time.
Yep.
It's so funny. It's all over the place. But yeah, it's almost 12. I'll let you go. I know you got shit to do, bro. I got GA in a couple minutes. It was great catching up with you, man.
Awesome, man. I really enjoyed it.
Good.
All right, buddy. I'll see you later.
Yep. I'll talk to you soon, bro. I'll let you know when this comes out.
All right. See you.
Right, have a good day, man. See
All
ya.
right, bye.